Hey everyone. So, as you know, the March for Our Lives event happened earlier today all around the country where liberals gathered together en masse to autistically screech and pretend that gun control has even the smallest shred of validity to it. So, I went down like I do with all local authoritarian political events to crash it and ask the attendees some questions and challenge their thinking and possibly open their minds to a new perspective. Well, I unfortunately wasn't able to get much footage. However, the footage I did gather was pretty damning, but there isn't enough of it to put together the full context of what happened, which is why I've even needed to record this introduction to begin with. If I didn't explain what happened in greater detail, the impact of what I'm about to show you wouldn't be as significant. Oh my god, look at this. That vest says Love Army. It's kind of funny that they're sort of proving the point that without guns, security is sort of meaningless. So the reason these Love Army guys are so significant, other than just being completely cringe, is that their purpose wasn't made clear. At first I thought they were security officers and that they were making some sort of political statement by not having guns, but I thought that was stupid as it would completely render the entire purpose of having security null. So, and it would only prove the point of the pro-gun side. However, I came to find out the real purpose of these people being there, and it's far more sinister and shady than any of you could have probably ever imagined. But more on that in a moment. Anyway, the speakers just kept droning on, except in about 20 minutes after I was listening, I was just waiting for a moment to go talk with someone, but just out of nowhere, like a godsend, three people come up to this person standing right in front of me, one of them carrying a sign that says gun reform doesn't equal gun control. Apparently these people were all friends outside of politics and started catching up and talking with each other. Then, just out of nowhere, the woman holding the sign mentioned says, and I quote, "We need a full gun confiscation. We need to steal these guns. We need to melt them down just like Australia did." So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch that part of the discussion on camera, but I did scramble to record as much of the conversation as I could, and ended up catching the end of the conversation where the lady admits that she doesn't care about our rights and would be willing to overreach the courts in the aim of banning guns faster.
Incremental than that. I'm willing for it to go faster.
So, knowing that I didn't catch the conversation on camera, I decided then was the moment, and the person in front of me was the time and person to engage in a discussion. So, I simply asked them to elaborate on if they supported gun confiscation and the conversation they had earlier, both so I could prove that this conversation did in fact happen, and so I could try and start a discussion with this person. So, you do think that guns should be confiscated?
I think that we should have gun buyback. I think that certain types of weapons should be completely outlawed because they don't have a place in a civil society.
So I then proceeded to try and engage in a conversation by explaining that this is both unconstitutional and it violates our rights as self-owning individuals to associate and trade any manner that we like under non-coercive circumstances, to which one of the aforementioned Love Army people actually grabbed my arm and told me, "We're not having a discussion here, there's no debate here," and then told me to leave. Oh.
Yeah.
That both violates our constitutional rights and our right as self-owning citizens to own any property.
Oh, we're not arguing today. We're not arguing today.
Thank you.
And no, I'm not pressing charges even though I very well could, considering that this classifies as fourth-degree assault. I'm not one of those people. Anyway, as I was walking away, I noticed there were about 30 or 40 of these Love Army people in the crowd, and they were all placed strategically so that they were never out of earshot and that they were around everyone. So the Love Army wasn't there to function as security. They were there to basically stop people from having conversations which the organizers didn't agree with and didn't want people having. Which, of course, the organizers of this event were the Democrat Party. So really, I'm just amused at how fragile the gun grabber position is that they need to hire what is effectively an opinion bouncer group. But this also exposes a rather scary truth, and that is that even gun control supporters know full well that what they're advocating for is a gun ban, and they'll tell you it's a reform, whatever that means. They're lying to you. But of course, we all knew that, since even in principle, a so-called gun reform is indistinguishable from a gun ban, both in the Constitution, since the Second Amendment says that citizens have the right to keep and bear arms, not some arms, but also because, as self-owning individuals, we all have the right to free association and property naturally, and using coercive violence to stop us from trading in ways which the state arbitrarily deems to be unacceptable is a blatant violation of our rights on those grounds. Anyway, this was my take from on-the-ground experience of the March for Our Lives event. If you liked it, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and please consider donating to my Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.